The tech billionaire has joined critics condemning the government's refusal to initiate a new investigation into historic child sexual abuse in Oldham. The decision not to lead a public inquiry has sparked outrage from various figures, including politicians and public commentators. Former Minister Mrs. Badenoch emphasized the need for urgent action, stating, "The time has long passed for a comprehensive national inquiry into the grooming gang scandal." Trials have been held across the country, but no one in authority has connected the dots. Justice for the victims must begin in 2025. Tech mogul Elon Musk added his voice to the debate via social media, accusing authorities of failing to hold perpetrators accountable. He alleged that during Sir Keir Starmer's tenure as Director of Public Prosecutions, systemic failures allowed rape gangs to exploit young girls without facing justice. Musk further criticized Safeguarding Minister Jess Phillips for denying Oldham Council's request for a Home Office-led inquiry, claiming her refusal is linked to protecting Sir Keir's legacy as head of the Crown Prosecution Service from 2008 to 2013. Jess Phillips, in a letter to Oldham Council, stated that decisions about commissioning local inquiries should be made at the council level rather than through government intervention. Shadow Home Secretary Chris Philp and Shadow Safeguarding Minister Alicia Kearns have also written to the Home Secretary, urging a nationwide public inquiry. They stressed that only a statutory inquiry could address the scope of these crimes, examine the handling by police, the CPS, and local councils, and ensure justice for survivors. Robert Jenrick, Shadow Justice Secretary, called the government's refusal to intervene shameful. Former Home Secretary Suella Braverman criticized Jess Phillips for her inaction, highlighting her own efforts in leading a task force that resulted in numerous arrests. Her refusal to investigate speaks volumes about her commitment to protecting women and girls, Braverman stated. Meanwhile, Reform UK leader Nigel Farage criticized the Conservative Party for failing to act during its time in office. He remarked, "The establishment has failed victims of grooming gangs at every level." Reform MP Rupert Lowe echoed these sentiments, urging the government to disclose the extent of ongoing exploitation and publish data on those convicted for such crimes. The controversy has reignited discussions on the findings of the independent inquiry into child sexual abuse, which published its final report in 2022. The report described child exploitation as an epidemic affecting tens of thousands of victims. Despite its 20 recommendations, the inquiry's chair, Professor Alexis J., expressed frustration over the lack of implementation more than 2 years later. She insisted that the issue requires action, not further consultation or research. The proposed new inquiry, backed by Conservative leaders, would focus specifically on grooming gangs, distinguishing it from the 2022 inquiry, which examined all forms of child sexual abuse. An Oldham Council spokesperson emphasized that survivors remain central to their efforts and pledged to prioritize their voices in any future investigations. A Labour spokesperson reaffirmed the party's commitment to addressing child exploitation, noting that the government continues to support local and national inquiries. They highlighted work already underway in Greater Manchester to improve child protection and deliver justice for victims. The debate underscores the urgency for coordinated action to prevent further exploitation, ensure justice for survivors, and restore public trust in safeguarding systems.